I do this technique all the time. Oh my God. Started with a raw chicken, ended up with this. Who knew? My mom's gonna be mad at me for saying this. This technique is amazing. Ridiculous. Hi there. Welcome to the show where we don't know what we're cooking until after we've made it. Today I'm really hungry. It's like, what time is it? It's like almost 2 p.m. and I haven't eaten anything all day, so I'm gonna talk real fast. I happen to know that I have a chicken in the, what's the word of this show? Fridge, yes. I happen to know that I have a chicken in the fridge that it's waiting to be eaten. It's, you know, a normal chicken. I've salted it and I've let it sit overnight in the fridge. I'm hungry, I want to eat this bird. One of my favorite things to do with a whole chicken is to cut it up into pieces, coat them with some seasonings, and then roast them at super high heat. It doesn't take very long to cook, and I get to eat faster. First step, as always, is preheat the oven. If you're gonna use the oven, I have chickeny fingers, so I'm gonna use my pinky. I'm gonna go 425. I'm gonna cut this bird up into like 8 or 10 pieces. The order that I think is best is to remove the legs, then remove the wings, then take the whole back off, and finally remove the breasts. And for a more detailed explanation about how to do this, so you can become a chicken master, be sure to watch my video about how to take apart or butcher a chicken. We've got our 2 thighs, our 2 wings, our 2 drumsticks, and our 2 breasts. It's great. Too much for one person, obviously. So I'm gonna actually do 2 different seasoning rubs, spice rubs for it. One is gonna be sort of inspired by like the ranch dressing flavors, and one is gonna be more warm spices, probably a little bit of Mexican influence in there. We'll see what I got. But let me wash my hands. I do have chili powder, and in it is chili powder, so I assume that's some kind of chili, and then cumin, oregano, coriander, etc. So I'm just gonna use a fair amount of this. Onion granules, garlic powder. The cool thing about using these ground spices is, one, the distribution will be super easy, but also a lot of the way that they make these blends and they make these just ground spices is by drying them, roasting them, and so their flavor is really different from the fresh thing. And since I'm going for that sort of warm flavors, it's a perfect thing to use. Let's do some smoked paprika. Oh, that's a giant chunk of smoked paprika. I will have paprika chicken, that'll be great. A little bit of cayenne, just, you know, 'cause I can. Nobody else is here. And then some extra coriander, because I like coriander. Black pepper. And then just some salt. Mix that all up. And that's 1 spice rub done. And you can like buy spice rubs and you can buy spice mixes if you want. I like to do it like this. It gives me much more flexibility. The second one I want to do is sort of more ranch dressing-y inspired, but it's like raining to beat the dickens, so I'm not going to get out any mint from the garden or any rosemary from the garden. Maybe I'll go get some rosemary and mint. Nah, it's raining. I'm going to stick to the dried spices I got. Dill. And what I like to do with herbs, mush them up in my fingers a little bit. I feel like that sort of breaks things down a bit more. It helps it grind up a little bit more. And I have been told that it also releases some of their oils better. I don't really know if that's true, but I like to do it. Some parsley. Oh, Kristen, who has been on this show before, showed me measuring out, taking a teaspoon measure and measure out a spice that you want, or anything that you want, an herb that you want, anything, until it's basically a teaspoon. Put that in your hand, and that way you know what a teaspoon looks like in your hand. It's incredibly useful to be able to do that. So you can just eyeball, oh, that's gonna be a teaspoon and a half roughly, or that's gonna be a tablespoon and a half. Let's get some thyme in there. This isn't very ranchy, actually, it turns out. There's no like buttermilk flavor. I'm gonna add some mustard to this one. I think thyme and mustard, it's like a nice combination. And at this point, it's definitely not as ranchy as it is French-ish. And I'm gonna add the onion and the garlic to this one also. I like black pepper on a lot of things, so that's what we're gonna do. Oh, that's very pretty. Look at that. If you want to use up all of it, you absolutely can. Just get it heavily, heavily coated. And you can use any spice mixture you like. It's just the technique that's important right now. These are going to be so different from each other. It's going to be great. And you can get in there right now and you can sort of mop up more if you feel like it, but I'm satisfied with life right now, so I'm good. I'm gonna oil up the pan a fair amount, and if you wanted to use a silpat, you could do that too, but a lot of people don't have one, and I forgot all about mine. I'm just gonna give it a quick, there you go, little bit of oil, nothing crazy. Into the oven they go. Voila. The light meat and the dark meat are done at different temperatures. So breast meat is usually done, you pull it at 160-ish, dark meat you pull it like 170, 175. The one thing I really use for this technique is my thermometer. I'm gonna pull it when the temperature is right, not necessarily after a certain amount of time. It's been about 9 minutes, so I'm just gonna check on it and see if it needs to be flipped. Sizzling. Ooh, you can see it's browning on the bottom side there. 2 quick oven tips. One is ovens work on cycles. So they turn on the heat and the oven gets hotter and hotter and hotter until it reaches the temperature you want, and then it basically turns off. It like lowers the energy going into the oven. And so the temperature drops, it hits a certain point, it turns it back on again. And so you get this wave of heat in almost every oven. So what I like to do is turn off the oven sometimes and turn it back on immediately, set it to the right temperature. And sometimes I see that it is lowered by 25 degrees, and so it boosts it back up again immediately on my schedule rather than its own. Second tip is that ovens heat, from the bottom up, but also the walls and the ceiling get hot, and so it actually radiates heat from all over. What I often do is put something on the bottom or the top of the oven. So with this, I saw I'd put it sort of in the middle of the oven and the bottom was browning a lot, so I'm putting it at the top of the oven. 3, 2, 1. Let's see. Glasses off. Take the temperature of the chicken, 161, 162, perfect. These 3 pieces are done and they look amazing. They definitely need some time to rest before I eat them, which is great because those guys are still in the oven. Setting the table for myself because I'm gonna eat alone. And let's check the thighs. Looking good. This plate is too small. I'm gonna replate. I would, if I were serving this to other people, put this on a smaller plate. But I am not. I'm just going to eat the pieces I want and that will be that. I made a quick sauce that's literally just sour cream and the onion powder and a little bit of dill. Now my usual, my mom's gonna be mad at me for saying this. My rule of thumb is if the meat has a bone in it, eat it with your hands. The skin is, and if you can hear this, still crispy, which is pretty amazing. And that's just because we did it on high heat. This is my favorite meal. It's so good. I do need a napkin though, because I'm eating with my hands. Ooh, also super moist inside. I'm gonna put some lemon over this one actually. That red one is spicy. Wesley, you put a lot of cayenne. All the meat came out at the time it needed to come out. That's what the thermometer is for. So easy, so fast, so fulfilling. It can be super impressive on a table. I knew I needed to cook up a bird. I knew I wanted a meal fast. Roasting it whole would have taken a good hour and 15 minutes. With this, it took about 20 to 25 minutes. I do this technique all the time. You can buy chicken parts and just do that. I highly, highly recommend. If you like this video, be sure to share with all your friends, click like, click subscribe, do all those things. And until next time, I don't know, I got no sign off.